Today on The Caucus, Megan Liberman and Jeff Zeleny discuss the possible presidential campaign of Texas Governor Rick Perry. Also, a longtime Texas reporter looks at the governor's record in office.
It is our nature as people. Inherently, we want to live free. And that's really what this election is all going to be about.
So Jeff, Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, came to New York last night to speak at the annual Lincoln Dinner, a group of Republicans, and he was filling in for Donald Trump and fueling speculation that he's really considering getting into this presidential race.
He was fueling speculation. He was quite literally playing the role of Donald Trump.
He's known for saying, "You're fired." We're known for saying, "You're hired."
In his speech, he was really doing what he's done across the country. He wasn't giving too many specifics for a possible presidential platform. The fact is, he hasn't really thought it through that much if he's going to run or not. So it was a standard stump speech, a true crowd pleaser for conservatives, but it didn't offer that much of a window in what he's really thinking. That answer is coming in private conversations with his team of strategists.
And the inner circle questions got more interesting because when Newt Gingrich's staff basically had a mass exodus last week, a couple of his top people were also longtime Rick Perry people, right?
Without a doubt, and one of them was at his side last night. Right. David Carney is a longtime political strategist. He signed up with Speaker Gingrich because at the time it looked like Governor Perry was not even thinking about running for president, and he wasn't. But now things change. He and others are saying privately, this is not a done deal. We are looking at this. Take him at his word when the governor says he is looking at this, not just flirting with it.
Right, but you do already see the contours of how he would run, that he's positioning himself as a conservative alternative to Mitt Romney, and that one who has he's a governor though, and there's a lot of people trying to occupy that conservative Tea Party space. But he's a governor and someone who has a story on the economy that he likes to tell, particularly on jobs.
He does. Everywhere he goes. He said Texas has created more jobs, of course, under his leadership than any other state combined. He doesn't tell the full record of Texas, of course, which also has debt problems. And if he decides to run for president, all that will be fully examined. But I think the most important takeaway from all this is that he is thinking about running because it seems that there's still a space in this Republican race. We're almost in the middle of June, and there still is not the perfect candidate that some conservatives are looking for.
He has some things he has to potentially overcome, too, statements he's made in the past. He's known for some sort of out-there remarks, like suggesting perhaps that Texas might like to secede, things like that. And he seemed to be putting a gloss on that last night, talking about a sort of more sober states' rights argument.
And when you listen to him, you're almost like, why do you want to run for president? Right. Since the job would be so diminished under you. Right. A Rick Perry presidency would basically secede all federal powers back to the states. But I think the point here is that he is trying to make this big contrast with, all the other establishment Republicans in the race. One other thing that he has, if he decides to run, is a huge fundraising Rolodex. He's the chairman of the Republican Governors Association, which means that he has contacts all across the country, and if he would decide to run, money would not be a problem for him.
But he does have to start actually raising that money soon and building an infrastructure, so he has to make some kind of decision fairly soon, doesn't he?
He does, without a doubt. The Iowa straw poll, should he participate, and it's something that would probably do well for him, is less than 60 days away, so there's not that much time here. It takes a while to get a presidential operation underway, so he has a couple weeks to make this decision. And at the end of the day, we'll see if he is actually going to go forward or if he's like all the other governors who have decided not to run, that it's easier to look at it from the outside. But we'll find out.
Also today, Jay Root is a reporter with the Texas Tribune, a nonprofit news organization which partners with the New York Times to provide coverage. He's covered Rick Perry for almost 15 years.
And I've covered Perry since Perry was an ag commissioner, and then he moved on to lieutenant governor, and then when Bush was elected president, then Perry became governor, and I've pretty much covered Perry ever since he was governor.
In the last few years, as you've heard, we created more jobs than all the other 49 states combined.
The economy in Texas is clearly better than most of the rest of the nation, but Texas does have a lot of unemployment. Texas has a lot of poverty, but I don't think there's any dispute that Texas has weathered the recession better than most states. You'll hear him say over and over that Texas is fiscally conservative. He'll take credit for laying the groundwork and creating a structure that's what he says over and over, that we in Texas have created this structure that's favorable for business.
The federal government was created by the states to be an agent for the states, not the other way around.
He kind of got ahead of the Tea Party thing. It was in April of 2009. Perry was at a anti-tax rally.
We got a great union. There's absolutely no reason to dissolve it. But if Washington continues to thumb their nose at the American people, who knows what might come out of that.
He was roundly criticized for that, but there have also been commentators who have suggested that he gained a benefit from it. He walked in with some street cred as sort of a Tea Party guy, even though he's been pretty much in office most of his adult life.